Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar. My name is Andrew Kennedy and I'm a Business Intelligence and Analytics Consultant with Thorogood. And together with my colleague Amy Southwood, we're going to be showing how self-service business intelligence and analytics could help your organization and why Tableau is a strong candidate for Self-service BI. If you have any questions, please submit them via the chat panel. We'll monitor this during the session and we'll look to answer those either at the end or offline. During today's presentation, we'll focus on self-service BI and analytics and how it can bring advantages to your organization. We'll identify and hopefully dispel some common concerns, and we'll take a look at some of the different options for collaboration in self-service BI and analytics. Throughout the webcast, we'll have a number of demonstrations of why Tableau Desktop and Server are excellent tools for self-service BI and analytics. Now, for anyone who doesn't know Thorogood, we're a specialist business intelligence and analytics consultancy with over 25 years of expertise in matching business goals with technical possibilities. We operate as a single integrated organization across our offices in London, New York, Philadelphia and Bangalore, and we provide a range of services including strategy, design, implementation and training and support. As an independent consultancy, Thorogood is able to partner with the best-of-breed technical solutions, ensuring we are well placed to help you and your business find the right solution for your business intelligence and analytics need. Now, worth noting for today's presentation, we're a strategic alliance partner with Tableau and a member of their partner advocacy board. We have more than 65 consultants with Tableau experience, and we have certified consultants in all our locations around the globe. The projects we've worked on include integrating Tableau with a range of technologies to provide end-to-end solutions. This March, just 2 months ago, we were delighted to accept the award for Alliance Partner of the Year for EMEA. So now that you've heard a bit about Thorogood, I'm going to hand over to Amy to explain what we mean by self-service BI.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi everyone, my name is Amy Southwood and I'm going to walk you through how self-service business intelligence differs from productionized in order to gain an understanding of what self-service is. If we think about the conversation between an information consumer and an information provider in a productionized scenario, typically when the consumer wants a report, they'll log a request, probably with IT as the information provider, and the provider will come back to them asking for requirements. After detailed requirements gathering, there's wait for the solution to be developed and for the report to be produced. Once we've got that far out, our consumer might go back either with a new idea, or maybe the requirements gathered weren't quite right, or the report's not exactly what the business needed. Either way, there's a new request has to be logged, there's another round of requirements gathering, and then we go through the whole cycle again, even for a very small change. Now with the self-service model, we have the same information consumer and information provider, and again, the consumer will submit the request for a new report. To allow the user to create their own reports, the information provider will grant access to the data, but from there the consumer is able to build their own report, and if they need any changes or improvements, they're able to get the information they need without having to go back through the request and gathering stages. Meanwhile, the information provider can spend their time focusing on other IT-related needs like data quality. But with great power comes great responsibility, and really the benefits and considerations with self-service BI are around the balance between autonomy and control. On the one hand, self-service gives us some great advantages around the speed and flexibility of building reports, as well as opening a deeper level of analysis to more users. But perhaps it might introduce considerations around who has access to data and reports, and whether the reports are necessarily built correctly and with best practices in mind. It is important to realize that the considerations aren't reasons not to use self-service, but rather key focus areas when planning and implementing self-service. In the remainder of the session, we're going to demonstrate how you can enable self-service using Tableau and the features it has to help address these considerations. As we go along, please make use of the chat panel if considerations aren't covered. Andrew will now provide an overview of Tableau, which we will be using in more depth throughout this webcast.
I think it's worth starting with Tableau's mission statement, and that is to help people see and understand their data. And Tableau software is really built with the aim of making data exploration and analysis easy and intuitive, And it's that simplicity that makes it an ideal tool for self-serve BI and analytics. To briefly highlight some of the features which are focused on giving everyone impactful access to the data, Tableau has an intuitive drag-and-drop interface offering a wide range from simple to advanced visualizations. Tableau can connect to many different data sources with options to blend them together if users need access to data from several data sources at the same time. Through Tableau Server, users can share insights by publishing their visualizations and collaborate by commenting on other people's workbooks or adapting them to their own needs. It's also worth noting that Tableau has a vibrant community of users on their forums, so if users aren't sure of how to do something or need inspiration, often there'll be some helpful advice there. Now, the two components of Tableau that we're going to show you today are Tableau Desktop and Tableau Server. Tableau Desktop allows you to rapidly explore, visualize, and analyze data. It offers fast performance against large amounts of data, and users can create dashboards to consolidate visualizations into one view. Workbooks created in Tableau Desktop can then be published to Tableau Server, which is a web-based business intelligence platform viewed in the browser without the need to install Tableau on each separate machine. It allows enterprise collaboration by sharing workbooks and adding comments, and offers integration with portals and applications, for example, SharePoint. Other products in Tableau Suite are Tableau Reader, a free tool to open workbooks with the data saved in an extract, but which doesn't offer the option of editing the dashboard or refreshing the data. Tableau Online is a cloud-based version of Tableau Server, allowing you to set up the collaboration and sharing elements of Tableau with reduced effort in setting up hardware. And Tableau Public allows you to publish dashboards to the world at large and is used by a number of newspapers for that reason. Now, I think with Tableau, one of the best ways to see what it does, see what it's capable of, is really to take a dive into the software. I'm going to ask Amy to do that now.
Okay, so I'm a business user and I have a simple business question that I would like to answer, which is what product subcategory has the most sales in 2014? In order to answer this, I'm going to use Tableau 9 Desktop, which in this case is connected to a published data source on the Tableau 9 server. Andrew will discuss the benefits of publishing data sources later, but in this case, the information provider, or IT, has allowed me access to this data source, which is a fictional bike and accessories reseller SQL database connection. So you can see this data source connection here in the Data Source tab. I can then move into the visualization area in Tableau. As discussed earlier, Tableau's strength as a self-service tool lies in how quickly and easily data can be analyzed and questions answered. With just a few clicks, I can connect to data and start my analysis. So if you notice on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a dimension pane and a measures pane. So I'm going to bring sales on from the measures and English project subcategory from the dimensions. So Tableau right now has already created a bar chart for me. I want to further filter my data to my question, which was sales in 2014. And then I'm going to sort my data to allow me to easily see what product subcategory has the highest sales in 2014. So once this data has been brought in, I'm going to sort it, and this is just to show you how easily Tableau created this visualization, and essentially in 3 clicks I was able to get my answer, which is touring bikes has the most sales in 2014. However, I know that sales is not always a good indicator of performance, and I want to bring profitability into my visualization. To do this, I'm going to bring profit margin onto color, which will color my visualization by the profit. So right now, the size of the bars is the sales and color is profit. Right away, it is apparent that touring bikes and road bikes, while they have the highest sales, they have negative profit. And this is an area that I want to investigate to see if I can find insights into what is causing this loss. I want to investigate further by looking at the resellers. I'm going to bring sales and profit into my visualization. I'm going to keep my order date filter of 2014 as my original business question was. And then I'm going to bring bikes onto the filter as well, so I'm only looking at bikes. And then once I've set my visualization, I'm going to bring reseller onto detail. so I can see how each of my resellers are doing in 2014 in terms of profit and sales. To provide more refinement to my visualization, I can bring the product subcategory onto shape and filter out mountain bikes from my product subcategory, since, as we saw before, they're actually performing well. So I can use the show fewer option in my filters to eliminate mountain bikes in my visualization. Based on my visualization now, I can see that actually none of the resellers are turning a positive profit with these two product subcategories. So I want to look a little bit more in depth and see if the business type or channel of the resellers is contributing in any method. So I can bring the reseller business type onto color. In order to further divide my data, I'm going to use a new feature that is in Tableau 9, which is the Analytics tab. And I'm going to drag and drop on an average line onto the table. This subdivides my data and allows me to focus more on particular areas. I want to focus on the resellers in the left quadrants because they have lower than average profit. If I want to, I can further refine my analysis by bringing on a country. So say I want to just look at resellers in the United States, I can bring United States on the filter and further limit down the resellers that I want to focus on. So from my initial business question, I was able to use Tableau to quickly answer my question, as well as highlight a concern I may not have noticed otherwise. I was able to investigate my data in terms of several factors and find a subset of resellers to investigate further. Now I'd like to explore Tableau's visualization capabilities and dashboarding to create an effective summary report that will allow myself and others to quickly identify areas of high performance or concern. So if I go back to my original bar chart, I can use the Show Me functionality that Tableau has that provides out-of-the-box visualizations for my data. I can look at my data in form of a tree map or even a bubble chart. Within a bubble chart, if I go and I change my marks to text, I now have a text visualization that shows the product subcategory sales by size of the word and the profit margin on color. So I'm happy with this visualization, and I want to look at the other dimensions that are provided in my data set. Tableau can also classify dimensions as geospatial or time-based based on the data type and the data source when making the data connection. So if you look at the dimensions in the dimension pane, you can see that business type is a text dimension, due date is a time-based dimension, as you can see with the little calendar icon, and English country region name is a geospatial dimension. So I'm going to bring on my geospatial dimension of state, and right away Tableau has automatically created a map. I'm going to bring on the country, so I have my state and country level of definition, and then lastly I'm going to drag profit onto color. This is allowing me to see profit at the state level. Similarly, Tableau defines time-based dimensions. So if I bring on sales amount and order date, Tableau will generate a line graph to show trends over time. I can modify how my order date is shown, so I want to choose continuous months. And then I can add different levels of granularity into this trend. So I want to see how the product categories are performing over time. So if I drag and drop the product category onto color, I'll be able to see how each of the product categories is performing. Lastly, if I move to the Analytics tab again, I can bring a forecast onto this visualization by simply dragging and dropping forecast onto this chart. I now have 3 independent visualizations, and I can bring them onto a dashboard and connect the worksheets to make them interactive. I can make the worksheets interactive by creating global filters, such as applying a filter to all the sheets using the data source, or by making the worksheets themselves filters. So here's my dashboard, and I can now drag and drop my different worksheets onto my dashboard. So I'm going to bring my 3 worksheets on, and then I can rearrange the legends to create a dashboard that uses the space well and with the layout that I desire. So I now have my dashboard created with my three different worksheets. If I bring on my filter that I made global for the year, I can change the type of filter this is, so I can choose a multi-value drop-down filter. I can then place this filter anywhere in the dashboard that I like. And now if I change the filter, all the worksheets will change as well to reflect all the years within my data set and not just 2014. In order to make the worksheets interactive, I can make each worksheet actually be a filter itself. So I'm going to make the region a filter as well as the subcategories. So now if I go back to my first business question of 2014 and then filter down my other visualizations by touring bikes, I can see how touring bikes is performing in sales over time as well as by region. And if I look closely at region, I notice that the state of California has significantly greater loss and profit than the other states in the United States. So I can use this information that I found from my summary report to go back to my reseller analysis and further refine my analysis by bringing the state onto the filters as well. And this will limit down the number of resellers that I need to look at when examining them. So now that I've created this workbook, how do I share my findings with other people? So let's take a look at how you can share workbooks in Tableau. If you're sharing on a smaller scale, so perhaps an organization or at a department level within an organization, then one option you might look at is using Tableau package workbooks. When saving a workbook as a package workbook, the data is saved as an extract, like taking your data as a snapshot in time. Here we export from Tableau as a package workbook containing all the data needed for the dashboards and share the file via email, file share, or whatever way is most appropriate. The users can then open the package workbook in the free Tableau Reader tool or view or edit if they have the full Tableau desktop software. It is important to remember workbooks cannot be edited in Tableau Reader as they can only be viewed and filtered. When using package workbooks, the data is included in the file, so you'd want to carefully consider what the security implications are of sharing the files and who has access to them. At an enterprise scale, a more robust solution is to publish the workbook to Tableau Server. Tableau Server is a platform for sharing, dashboards, and data connections. Tableau Server provides secure access to data, collaboration, personalized user experience, and search capability. Here we use Tableau to upload the dashboards to Tableau Server, where users can access in their web browser without the need for special software or on the move in mobile. Depending on the permissions set for the user, users can web edit the dashboards in a similar way to how Desktop Tool works. Settings for editing and saving are separate, and you can specify users who can modify the original workbook or only create their own copy and modify that all on the server. In addition, if permissions allow, the user can download the workbook and view and edit it in Desktop. Tableau Server provides a large degree of control over who in the organization should be able to create, edit, and publish reports, and who can view them. Tableau Server has the capability to provide structure and security to enable your self-service environment with the right amount of flexibility and control. The server is divided into different sites, each containing its own users and assigned permissions. The sites are divided into projects, in which contents and permissions can be further defined by the users. Workbooks and data sources can be published to projects based on the publisher's permissions. Permissions for the specific workbook and data sources are set by the publisher when publishing but can be edited by admins on the server. Workbooks are comprised of views, which inherit permissions from the workbooks. It is important to remember that security is controlled at every level. In addition, the data source security still applies within the reports. Groups of users can be created for admin purposes and to assign bulk permissions. Now I want to publish the dashboard that I just previously created so that others can use it to gain insight. So if I go back to Tableau Desktop, I can go back to the dashboard I created. I want to reset my filters to the default view that I want to publish in. Now if I go to Server and Publish Workbook, I'll log on to the Tableau 9 server, where I'll be asked to choose the project site that I have permission to publish to and is also the appropriate location for this workbook. So I select the site, I choose an appropriate name for the workbook. Then I can look at the users and the permissions that they have. So I want to add a group in that I had previously made. It's called Business Users, and it has one member, which is my colleague, Andrew Kennedy. I want to set his permissions so that he is not allowed to web edit or download, but is allowed to view comments and view the underlying data. Lastly, I want to make sure that I am only publishing my dashboard and not my worksheets. So at this point, I can go ahead and publish. And once my dashboard is published, I want to approach Andrew because I want to bring it to his attention the large profit loss that is occurring in California.
Thank you, Amy. Now here on the Tableau server, which I've opened in my web browser, I'm just going to sign in here. Now for anyone familiar with Tableau, you might notice that Tableau 9 has a slightly different interface to previous versions of the Tableau server. I think it's a much cleaner one. But we've got the same structure, so I'm going to go into this project, Sales Ad Hoc project, which is the one that Amy's just published to. If I open Sales Overview, I can see that we've got this Performance Overview dashboard published to the server. Now, when I bring this up in Tableau, this is going to give me exactly the same dashboard that Amy's just published for the desktop, with the same filtering between the different visualizations. And like Amy said, I'm concerned about the large loss in California. As the regional product manager, and what I'm going to do is try and take a closer look at that data. Now to do that, I want to click on California to filter, and that will bring me back in the other visualizations just for the California data. Now within Tableau Server, I have the option to remember my changes. So having set this to California, I'm going to save that view so that I can get to it more quickly. And in future, that will appear in my own custom views assigned to my username under the custom views options here. Or alternatively, I can set that as my default. And when I do that, that means that every time I log into this workbook, every time I log into this dashboard, it'll show me that particular view. So it'll already be filtered to whatever options are most appropriate for me as a user. Like I say, within this, all of the filters work exactly as they would on desktop. I've also got the comments option down at the bottom if I want to discuss with other users certain aspects of the data that I'm looking at. Now, if I want to schedule some information for myself, if I want to get this report sent out to me, I've got different options for scheduling, so I can get it sent out. The options here are Monday morning or every weekday morning. I can get either this sheet or all of the sheets in the workbook, and I can subscribe to that, and it'll send me a PDF to my email. So that's how you can share insights using Tableau Server. The next thing we're going to look at is how you can use Tableau Server to share data connections with self-service users, and how the options available help ensure consistent, high-quality data readily available to the users. Now, it's worth noting quite how many different connectors are available in Tableau. There are around 30 different types of database which have native connections, and those include popular providers such as Microsoft SQL Server, Teradata, SAP, and Hadoop, and there are more possibilities with the DB connector. Extracts can be taken from a database to connect separately, or workbooks can be built on flat files such as CSV or Excel. And with the release of Tableau 9, they've added new capabilities to connect to files from analytics providers such as SAS, R, and SPSS. Now, whichever of those connections we use, Tableau's data server will allow us to publish a data source, either as an extract or as a live connection, for users to access in their own workbooks later. This makes it simpler for users to connect to the data, as the data sources always look the same regardless of the data source type, and any settings required for the connection are loaded quickly to increase the speed to analysis. Also, if you've got any calculations, hierarchies, or renaming which you need to do in Tableau, that can also be included in the data source. And this is something that we'd expect to be done probably by IT or power users, or in several cases, we at Thorogood have helped customers set up connections where they've had challenges with structuring data in the way that best enables analysis. We've also worked on projects with particular needs for data blending and on performance tuning the connection to certain types of data source. And what I'm going to do now is show you how that building a data source in Tableau actually looks. So to do that, let me just create a new workbook in Tableau. And here in this workbook, I'm going to connect to data. Now you can see here the list of native connections that Tableau has. There are quite a few there. I'm going to go at this point from Microsoft SQL Server. If I type in the server name, use my Windows authentication, it'll connect to the server and it gives me the option to drop down and choose the database. So if I select this database, which is the same one that we were connected to earlier, I can see the list of tables from that and any stored procedures down below. If I find the table I want, I can drag that into this area, and that will already let me connect to that data source. If I've got other tables that I want to join into that, let me pull on reseller, and Tableau will automatically find the join there. So here it's found that the reseller key should be mapped to reseller key, which is exactly what I want. But if it was getting that wrong, if it was finding something else, or if there's a specific connection that I know I want, I can change some of the options on the join there. I can set up my own join, or I can change the type of join. So as well as reseller, let me pull on product, and if I add product subcategory as well, it's put in all those joins, and I can choose whether to connect live or to take an extract. Now once I go to the workbook, I can either start my analysis here, or seeing as I want to publish a data source, I can see that my dimensions and my measures are down in the left-hand pane, like they were before, and I can start making changes that I can publish online. Now some of the things I can do, let me rename this product name. I'm always going to use the product name in English, because I'm not great at foreign languages, so let me take some of those other options and hide them. So you can see you can make it less confusing for users if there are particular dimensions and measures that they're going to want to use. As well as that, if there are, if I take the product name and the product subcategory name, I can right-click and create a hierarchy from that. Let me call it the product hierarchy. And you can see that Tableau's added that down at the bottom. And when I publish the data source, that hierarchy is going to be published for other users. So if they don't necessarily know what's in the hierarchy, I can set that up beforehand, and users don't have to worry about setting it up manually every time. Another thing I can do is to create a calculated field. And this time I want to add profit. So I'm going to start with the sales amount. And you can see with Tableau 9 here, we've got this new autocomplete function when I'm writing the script. And so it's offering me several options that start in the way I want. I'll choose sales amount. And another change is that I can drag on directly from the measures pane. So in this case, I want to take off the total product cost. I'll just drag that in. If I click OK, you see products added down at the bottom of the measures, and that's now in that data source. At this point, I'm going to publish the data source. To do that, I'll go to the data menu, choose this data source, and publish the server. and if I sign into Tableau server, you see that I can publish it to the relevant project, give it whatever name makes sense, give it a description if I want, and I've got options to assign permissions to certain users, so I can allow them to view, connect, and whether they can delete it or change the permissions on it. So again, this is something that you might expect IT or a power user to do, so that users can very simply go into Tableau, connect to this data source, and start their analysis straight away.
Great, thank you, Andrew. So for bringing it all together, we have used Tableau to demonstrate 3 components of self-service, which were generating insights, and sharing data. Self-service will differ from organization to organization, but a key benefit is in its flexibility in that self-service can be adapted depending on your needs and considerations. Self-service provides a structured yet agile environment for more efficient business intelligence to grow and take hold. When looking to implement a self-service strategy, it is important to realize that a self-service environment on its own is not self-sustaining. Thorogood can help in the design, implementation, and maintenance of an efficient self-service environment. Thorogood has experience and is able to help with making sure data is accessible and easy to use, helping with scaling infrastructure and process for performance, helping to define best practice and to foster the self-service community, helping users improve their solutions and support them when they encounter obstacles, and lastly, in training people to build their skills and further analytic capability.
Thank you everyone for joining today's webcast from Thorogood. If you have any remaining questions or you want to look further into using Tableau in your business, we'd love to hear from you. As a strategic partner with Tableau, there are a range of ways we can help you with strategy, requirements analysis, implementation, testing and training, and performance tuning. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to us via email. Now, this webcast has been recorded and we'll make it available on our website in a couple of days' time. Feel free to share it with your colleagues. And please visit our website for more information on Tableau and other upcoming events. I'll invite you to enjoy the rest of your day.